Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a special presentation of Tuesday Night Overwatch. I am your caster, Hodahori, and today we've got a great matchup here in the Majors Division between Wisdom Overwatch and Ghost Peppers. Joining me as my color commentator and co-caster, it is the one, the only, the great one, Pulse. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good, Hodo. So we have a pretty good match, as Hodo said, coming up for you between Wisdom and Ghost Peppers. And it's not the most vital match, but it's going to determine seeding a little bit for especially for Wisdom.
Yeah, it's definitely going to determine like where they're going to end up here in the majors playoffs. Both teams here have qualified for playoffs. Let's take a look at the standings here real quick for both Wisdom and Ghost Peppers. Ghost Peppers, this will be their final match here in the majors division. They've run the gauntlet. They're going to either end up at 17-3 or 18-2. They've locked second position here in the majors, which means they will be the opposite seeded side, opposite of Boosted, who are sitting at 18-0 and are playing their match right now. They've got one more match, and they are going for the perfect 20. Wisdom Overwatch here sits at sixth place with a record of 10-7, and trying to sort of improve that a little bit. They can come off a 3-game winning streak. They could theoretically jump the Megs and go for a fifth place finish, but right now they're looking at playing yes here in the opening round in the 3-6 game. Pulse, that is going to be a hard matchup for them. They've got a tough rock to climb there, with Yes being their probably their playoff opponent.
Yeah, we've definitely casted Yes a couple times and they look pretty strong. Pretty much all of Boosted Ghost Peppers Yes, the top three. I
Yeah.
would expect them to go the distance in playoffs just because of the matches that we've seen them play. They've all put up very good games against Boosted, even in Boosted's the undefeated team and sort of the one to beat. But any of those top three teams are going to be pretty hard to beat for any of the remaining seeds.
Yeah, they are the class here of the Majors Division. Let's take a look at the players here for Wisdom Overwatch. Starting off here, it is Oracle and Yaxim. They will be your supports. Phoenix and a large Wombat are your tanks. NVNO, Bobby Smiles, and Cyberspace are listed as flex players, so who knows where they'll be. Most likely you'll see them flexing between DPS and tanks, and Lumbo and Kaoru are your DPS. For the Ghost Peppers, it is going to be Nursey H2O on a Siren. Nursey's running late because I don't see her in the lobby. Chaos, Gas Roll, and Thick Daddy are listed as your tanks. That guy Tyler will be your flex players. And for DPS, Commander Hui, Jackson, and Ghost Boast. So it's a very strong lineup here from the Ghost Peppers. Let's take a look at the maps here that we will be playing here on Stage 2, Week 5. It'll be Busan, Dorado, Hanamura, Kings Row, and if we need to go to a tiebreaker, it is Nepal. So, map selections here. Busan's going to be opening map. Pulse, what do you think?
Busan's one of those ones where there's some good triple DPS comps you can run, and while neither team necessarily has a lot of DPS in, it's one of those things that's going to be a little bit different this week, especially since that patch hit last week. The one that introduced Baptiste had a lot of changes. So some strategies should start being developed, even though Baptiste isn't allowed in yet. But things are different. Things are changing. So you might see some less of the 3-3 since it is a little bit weaker with all of the GOAT's nerfs. A little bit more of some 2-2-2, or even
Now
maybe taking
traveling
advantage of
to
some of the
Busan.
DPS buffs.
Yeah, so we are going to be starting here on Mecha Base here. As we go into Busan, you will see the opening video here,
Initiate game
made by our
launch.
producers here at the Owlet tournament. Mecha Base here is going to be your opening map. This is very May prone. Lots of little narrow entrances into the main area. There's about 3 that come out of spawn, and you sort of like pick your poison, pick your direction. You want to go under? Do you want to go over? Do you want to go to the side? Pulse, do you have a specific direction you like to come out of spawn here on Mecha Base?
Generally, it's good to come out high ground. There are some things that you can do to come out in different spots of it, but this is the most prone to 3-3 comps, or like 3 support with a May. So if you see that on any map, it's going to be this one. And it's just because all the chokes are so narrow, and having that power to just force through any of them at will gives you such an advantage on Mecha Base. And like I said, high ground is very important. The big, large high ground opposite from the bay doors. But if you are running like a Torb, or if you want to set up a Soldier McCree on sort of the narrow walkway, that's also a very viable thing. You can sort of just have them flank to that direction and just poke from a distance to get some damage in.
Yep, so here we go, getting started here between this match between WisdomOW and the Ghost Peppers. Ghost Peppers here will be in red, and in blue, Wisdom going to be coming in. NBNO is going to be your main tank here for Wisdom Overwatch. Looks like Chaos on the other side will be his counterpart, and they now meet up on the high ground here. Chaos being very aggressive, trying to sort of push in, trying to make some space for him and his team. Gets, oh, good Ana grenade there, hits the front line. Ghostpost gets noob, but Lumbo gets Ghostpost down. So 1-for-1 trade-off here, but Commander Hui on that Daria is able to take out Lumbo. More trades coming in as Cyberspace takes out H2O, and it's just going back and forth here, and finally it looks like Advantage coming in on the side of WisdomOW. Charge came in from Chaos there, was able to take somebody down, but unfortunately not going to be enough to sort of give up the point here. Wisdom, 4 people on the point, looking pretty good here in the first fight.
Yeah, they had a really good Ana grenade combo with some Genji dashes to help clean up some early picks on that fight as they pushed in. And the Ghost Peppers really not being as aggressive as they could be into this 2-2-2 from Wisdom right now.
Ooh, and as you say that, Earthshatter comes in from NBNO here, and they're able to wipe down the Peppers. Peppers looking very rusty here in the very beginning in Mecha Base, as they get sort of wiped down, and Wisdom's taking it to them. They want to be very aggressive and say, hey, you know, we're not going to be pushovers here.
Definitely. And the way that they're playing this is NVNO is being excessively aggressive on Ryan, which is something that we've seen more stereotypically from Chaos. They're really not using this triple-triple composition to the strength of their own team. They're not being as aggressive as they can be in this 2-2-2. All they really need to do is bait out the flashbang, and they can more or less press W through it. So then you can make these adaptations soon.
Well, Blade coming out here with the Nano is enough for Lumbo to go through the trance here and take out 3. Peppers here getting a little bit run over, as now a D-Mech here right on a gas roll. Down he goes. He's trying to finish everybody off. There goes everyone here from the Peppers, already at 65% here. WisdomOW having a pretty easy way of it here on Mecha Base.
Yeah, and this looks like it's going to be the beginning of a pretty interesting upset if this keeps happening, because Lumbo and Cyberspace are really good. Lumbo taking advantage of the nades coming in from Yaxim. Just everything about the coordination between the Ana and Genji so far has been pretty stellar.
Yeah, Grapton comes in here, catches the tank line here of the Peppers, and oh my goodness, they got wiped out there as everybody gets knocked down. Nobody's going to make it back to point here. We're at 91%. This is over. They're going to need to have somebody sneak onto the point. That's the only way they're going to be able to get this point back, but at 97, 98, nobody's coming out of spawn. H2O trying to rush through. That's going to be that, and wow, 100-0 here from Wisdom Overwatch.
I don't think Ghost Peppers expected that coming to this map. Wisdom Overwatch has looked good, especially recently, but this is definitely the beginnings of an upset coming through. We see that the patch changes really affected them positively, especially with them being able to run these DPS, because they're looking a hell of a lot better than Ghost Peppers are right now, especially since they're running that 3-3. It looks like they're getting some negative side effects from the nerfs to their maybe favored composition.
Yeah, and I think, you know, the thing about it is they were a pretty decent GOATS team. So it's very interesting to see what is happening here. So that DPS lineup there with Lumbo and Cyberspace did a number here onto the Peppers, and Peppers got punched in the mouth. So I think maybe they weren't expecting that here, but it looks like Commander Hui now will be going up onto the pharmacy with Osiren. So we're going to see Projectile Master Commander Hui here start shooting in rockets, maybe aiming for Cyberspace, trying to see if they can nullify the DPS advantage here that Wisdom Overwatch has. As now it looks like here, Chaos going to the Hamster, trying to see if he can actually do some damage there in the back, and down goes Cyberspace as I say that. So Chaos doing pretty decently. NVNO actually charging in, trying to see if he can get anybody, and now it looks like Ghost Peppers have finally woken up here as Commander Hui doing a number there into the backline, takes down Yaxim, and will be going after NVNO. Looks like H2O is the one who's going to be able to finish them off. Noob here trying to just do anything that he can, gets hacked here by Ghostpost. Chaos finishing him off there, and it will be Ghost Peppers eventually, if they can clear off this Genji, which they do, will capture the initial point here on what is this? This is Shrine?
Sanctuary.
Sanctuary.
But yeah, this is, I think, the composition they really wanted to play, and probably a map they were more ready for, since they have Commander Hui and Ghost Post, which are Commander Hui, if you put him in, definitely wants to be playing the Pharah, and he finally gets his Pharah play and took it all the way with that. Yeah,
he got eliminated early though, so it's got to be problematic, as Osiren here couldn't get the res off. So now it looks like they're just playing for time now because they don't have very many people here left on point. Gasroll and H2O got grenaded and they couldn't get any receiving of the healing. Gasroll finally getting demeched here, but he's done a pretty decent job just sort of stalling the point here along with Chaos, who's now back here onto the hamster, and he's just basically circling around, killing time. They're going to get upwards of 42% here, as all they were doing is just on a hard stall, but they look at the ult difference now between Wisdom and the Ghost Peppers.
Coming up, like, NVNO has the Shatter, but who are you going to shatter when they're more or less playing a dive composition? There's no one on the ground, so if they want to hold this point, they really have to make use of the Yaxim and Lumbo's Nanoblade combo coming up. That's really the only thing they have to shut this down. If Cyberspace can get off a good high noon on Commander Hui, but Commander Hui plays cover so well that it's not going to be free.
No, it's absolutely not. NVNO actually did go for the Shatter there, and Cyberspace gets a great high noon off. Lumbo's probably not even going to have to use the blade here. They're going to be able to save it for a second fight. So good advantage there. Only had to pull out one ult, still have 4 going into the next fight. I think advantage is turning here. WisdomOW stabilizing on the point.
Yeah, they pulled out Shatter and High Noon there, but like you said, they have so much coming up this fight. It's looking like they're going to be able to stabilize for quite some time to come. We do have the Hamster Mines and Commander Hui, so they can make any part of the map instantly deadly. So if they use these well, they can just wipe the entire team.
Oh, EMP came out here and they comboed it with Commander Hui's barrage as nobody was able to get him down. There was 4 kills combined on that barrage, and now Lumbo here is going to he's not going to be able to use his ult because he just can't waste it here going into a group of 5. He's going to get taken out and the point will turn back to the Ghost Peppers, but they didn't use any ults. They've still got their big 4 ults here on the retake.
And NVNO makes the switch over to Winston now, I think, because it's just getting sick of getting hacked and getting spammed from a distance and unable to do anything about it. So not much of a loss there. Is throwing away some Earth Shatter percentage, but again, this is a team that is not a guaranteed Earth Shatter by any means.
And now here, Rocket's being spammed here by Commander Hui, just going into the back line. Lumbo's just looking for a spot here as a hack will come in into the background, and NVNO, again a recipient of the hack, not going to be able to jump anywhere. He's getting really low here. He's going to have to retreat. Gets the benefit of the healing here. Lumbo can't find a spot to use the blade. He's eventually just going to have to dash. And here comes the blade here. Nano-bladed, will get H2O, going for the Diva, gets Osiren instead. Gasroll gets demeched. He does get 3 there, so he does a really good job there on the blade. But we're at 88% here, so it's stall time here for the Peppers. Chaos here trying to do his best to maybe get it all the way up to 9-9, not going to be able to do so. And now they're in a pretty bad spot. Ghostpost actually came in, tried to get in for the hack real quick, not going to get killed, and it's now final fight time for both teams, pretty close.
Yeah, it's final fight time, but there's only really a sound barrier up for the defense right now, so if you can get a good Maya and a good Diva Bomb, even EMP and a Barrage are coming up, they're going to have to withstand quite a lot of damage and quite a lot of stuns coming in from this next fight in order to keep this point and win this map.
Yeah, it looked like they started to hide here on the sides and tried to sort of pull the members of the Peppers off, as it looks like the mines actually got sent into the air here, as it looks like a high noon comes out from cyberspace, only going to be able to get Ghost Post here. The point turned, so it's going to be a 99-99 fight. Diva Bomb head into the top of the drum by Quab as he's trying to actually do anything he can to take back the point. Not going to be able to do so. Rocket's going to rain down. He's going to get pushed off. That's going to be that here. We're going to go 3 because it looks like Wisdom's not going to be able to come back. Good retake there by the Peppers. Wisdom, unfortunately, a victim of their ultimate bank, I think.
Yeah, and when you're going into that last fight territory and the enemy team just out ults you with so many, like it was almost 4 ults, the only noob's sound barrier there. So even if he got the sound barrier off, there's only so much a Lucio can do into a Barrage, Mines, a Diva Bomb, an EMP that was almost up. So again, that would have had to have been played almost perfectly by Wisdom if they wanted to even keep that point.
Yeah, they needed like some early kills on to make sure that maybe they would stagger some of the ults that could have come out here from the Peppers. But unfortunately here, we go into City Center and we see Ghostpost here on the Widowmaker. So Ghostpost probably going to try to find a spot here and try to pick off people, as there is a Widow here from cyberspace. And what a shot there by Ghostpost. All he needed to do was just a little tiny flick and down goes the Widow here. Now we get to see some of the the DPS prowess coming in. Ghostpost gets rezzed here. He's got to be super careful. Oh! Excuse me, Cyberspace got res, and he got taken out, and he takes out Ghostboast. So the Widow gone here on the side of the Peppers, and now it looks like WisdomOW going to be pushing their advantage, as H2O here is really the only person left on the point trying to stall this out. He's going to be by himself and going to get obliterated here, and early point control will go to Wisdom.
Cyberspace did fall really early in that fight, but I don't think they were quite paying attention to the res, because as soon as he came back up, instantly got the shot off on Ghostboast. So really good counterplay with the Mercy res coming in, getting a safe res, getting the free shots off, and now it's going to be really hard to attack in this point with Commander Hui. Even though they are down noob right now, it's having a Pharah attack into a point is much harder than a Pharah defending a point.
That's exactly right. As Lumbo here takes out Ghostboast, that's exactly what you sort of wanted to see. So Lumbo's job now will be trying to take out Ghostboast, as he's been trying to sort of pick people off. Gasroll there able to eliminate Yaxim, so a couple of supports were already taken out early as Noob comes back here, as he's trying to keep Quab up. Lumbo doing his best to try to see if he can basically control a point here. Does take out H2O. Wisdom having a pretty decent time here, will eliminate a couple players. Chaos going down too, and Ghost Peppers here not being able to take the point. Could be that they're just a little too split up, Pulse.
A little bit. NVO had a really good primal there to stall off the point when things were getting a little dicey, but even then there was no clear advantage in the fight. In Goat's meta in 3-3, when someone falls, the other team has a very strong advantage just because of how synergistic the compositions are. But in 2-2-2, one person can fall and the other team still has that ability to come back. They still have DPS that can sort of turn the tide when things aren't going their way, and you really have to still play cautiously even if you're up one.
Oh, and it looks like Cyberspace goes down here, a victim of Chaos coming in, as it looks like Ghostboat's getting dived on here by the Monkey as he's trying to stay alive. He's going to get a benefit of the healing, and here come the mines onto the point. We're at 86% here, but Yaxim using the Transcendence to wipe out all the mines here on the point. Smart play, keeping his team alive and playing for that 99. As Nub here will get Lumbo back up, and kills now going the way of Wisdom. Osiren getting Ghostboast back up, but will it be enough? Not really sure. NBNO here trying to sort of see if he can survive onto the point. Bomb there will take Lumbo out, and at 99% here, it looks like NBNO is not going to give it up without a fight, as the ulting Monkey, realizing overtime's been going on for a while, to see if they can displace the members here of the Peppers. Oh! It looks like Chaos wrapped around and got himself blown up there by Quab, so an advantage here slightly for the Peppers, as Noob will be able to res NVNO, and now it is going to be Wisdom here looking very, very good on this point, as they're about to finish it off. If they can get Gasroll off, they're going to blitz this point. They absolutely do. 100-0 again. Ghost Peppers never able to get the point at all here in the city center.
Yeah, and that was a masterclass sort of performance by NVNO and Quab on the tanks, just because of how they stalled it out. They alternated Primal Rage. As soon as Primal Rage ended, Quab came in with a Diva Bomb to stall it out more and got 2 picks, the Mercy and the Hammond. And then after that happened, NVNO fell, but Noob was already back with a free res. So even, it was like what I was talking about earlier, at no point during that fight was Wisdom at an advantage, but they made it work. They had like the scrappy sort of style that just pieced together the win for them.
Yeah, it was actually sort of interesting to watch. So, like, you know, Wisdom were stringing these fights along, and it made it look like, though, that just Ghost Peppers would win slightly, but Wisdom would already be back, ready to take on another fight, and the Peppers weren't really back to full strength, so there was just really nothing they could sort of do about it. And they ended up not being even able to take like the point there on City Center, so it got all the way up to like 99%, and were just unable to do anything about it. So it's like, so all they did was just sort of dislodge them and just take it right there. So it made it an easy fight for Wisdom there at the end. So we have a 1-0 lead here to WisdomOW. Peppers losing a map here early on here to Wisdom. We go into Dorado with Peppers here on the offense to start off with. And Dorado is very interesting because it does have a hard point C, but you know, there are a lot of places where teams can get stalled on this map. So not going to be an easy push here for the Peppers going into Wisdom, who have looked very, very good tonight.
Yeah, like I do think that Ghost Peppers are a little bit of what I'd say are losers of this patch, and that they definitely got weaker. The things that we've seen them be very strong on in the past were all sort of things that did get a little bit nerfed, with a couple exceptions of their DPS players, because like Far got buffed, like a lot of other DPS players got buffed, but Chaos has been exceptional on Ryan, on Hammond a little bit,
Hmm.
but I haven't seen him play the Winston to as much effect, especially in triple triples. And Winston by far is probably the biggest winner among tanks. A lot of supports kind of got shafted a little bit in this patch, and like Discord, Discord nerfs, Lucio nerfs. So it looks like they're sort of struggling against Wisdom, especially since Lumbo brought out the Genji and Cyberspace brought out the hit scan, and it looked like they were just happy to be out of like Diva or Zarya and Brig jail. So
Yeah.
they're definitely going a little wild to make sure that their team doesn't put them back on tank and support.
Yeah, and I think they're trying to just sort of milk it for all they can. So Cyberspace trying to do his thing there on the Widowmaker. Did get a couple of good shots there off on Ghost Post, and Lumbo. We've just seen him just play Genji in all of the maps here. So he's probably loving life here at the moment. So running a 2-2-2 is will play into more players' sort of wheelhouses. I mean, like with the way that the meta worked previously, as all of you know, like, DPS were locked into the jail that was Zarya and Bray. I like Zarya personally.
Yeah,
Zarya
same.
is one of my favorite players, but like I can understand that if you were forced to play Zarya, it might not be as fun. So
Yeah,
but here, I want to see Commander Hui pull out some Junkrat, some Genji of his own, maybe. Have some fun with this. You've already secured your place, so this game really is more of a glorified scrim at this point because Ghost Peppers know exactly where they're going to be. So this might be one of those times in which they might be just experimenting with things, Pulse, possibly.
I mean that's always a possibility.
Hmm.
It's good to take games. It's good to take games and scrim seriously, but like there are some times where it's okay to have fun with it. And I don't think this is one of those times where they need to be super serious by any means.
Hmm.
It'd be good to make sure you're up to snuff and up on practice by the time playoffs come around, but it's not essential.
Yeah, Wisdom have more on the line here with regards to this match than the Peppers do, because of the way that the records work. So a win here by Wisdom. They have a couple more matches that they do have to play. Could improve their seeding. So it's just one of those things in which they could get out of playing Yes and end up playing Burn or the Megs instead, and that might be beneficial for them in the next round. So looks like both teams are finally ready. Shout out to Nursey here who joins the lobby. Missed out on the first map, so she will be on the bench here to start off. She is not going to get any playtime here on to Dorado. No real changes here. Do you see anybody come in and out here from the lineups? I don't think I saw very many changes here coming from either
No,
side.
I haven't seen any subs yet so far, so it looks
Yeah.
like they're just going to be rolling with these as their lineups for now.
Yep. So it will be Dorado here. That guy Tyler readying up here for the side of the Ghost Peppers. NVNO ready here. Just making sure here. And Yaxim, who is in charge of our lobby, is going to start us on here on Dorado. It will be the Ghost Peppers in red
Traveling to
and
Dorado.
WisdomOW in blue. So the Mexican coastal town of Dorado is our
Initiating
next map.
match.
And with Peppers down 1-0 here, the old way you would play Dorado was you would attack the high ground and hope to get yourself around the choke. A lot of DPS play was very, very useful here. When we were in the Goats meta, Dorado was very, very low ground based. Not a lot of high ground usage just because there is a little bit of lack of mobility. You maybe play floats on defense, which is the Winston Goats, to attack the high
All
ground
of the
for.
various names,
Yeah, so there's like snoats, there's
there's
floats, there's
floats.
goats.
Ready for battle.
It's like let's get over that. 3-3 will be situational. I think there will be teams who still play it, but you're probably going to see a little bit more variety coming into this patch.
Yeah, definitely. And even
Attackers
in
incoming
contenders
in
in
30
past seasons,
seconds.
one of the biggest things about this map, even Dorado, was teams still like to run Pharah and Widow on this map. Hanzo's still pretty popular. Genji's still kind of popular, which are all heroes that we've seen plenty of so far.
Hmm.
It looks like the defense is opting to put Lumbo on the soldier, which isn't bad. There's plenty of high ground that you can use to get some good poke in. But it looks like they are going to be running this Ashe Widow, which does insane amounts of damage to tanks and can put a lot of pressure on front lines.
Oh yeah, absolutely here. So it looks like Ghostbo's already trying to get a forward position here on the Ashe. Try to see if he can shoot into NVNO shield, where Commander Hui here on the rockets here just sort of spamming down, trying to do his best. Chaos, look at him go, going immediately into the high ground here, trying to get some cleave damage there. As Ghostbo's comes in, we'll take Hyperspace out. No more Hanzo to deal with there. And with Quab on the Zarya, you're probably going to try to see a lot of Dragon combos here. From the defense. So interesting here what they've decided to want to play with. You said you hadn't seen Chaos on Winston here, so we get to see him on the Winston to sort of experiment this down. So they're up 5v6, but it looks like they will be meeting up here in the choke as Lumbo just sort of firing here on the Soldier. Chaos again diving in, not getting a lot of space. Quab and NVNO here not really being very aggressive, Pulse. So I think they're just waiting for Ghost Peppers to sort of come to them.
Yeah, and it's hard to be an aggressive when every single time you try and take a step forward, you're eating dynamite and Pharaoh rockets. So they're holding this corner as best they can, which arguably pretty good into this composition that has so much spam, has so much cleave through shield and pressure on them. But they are holding their ground very well. Chaos coming in already with a primal to open this fight though.
Oh, and a barrage coming in from Commander Hui. He gets killed there by Cyberspace, who does go on the Widow, and he does take H2O out along with him. So now 2 men down here on the offense, but the payload has actually moved farther now than it did in the last 30 seconds. So very, very interesting take here, as it looks like Wisdom just giving up a lot of space here on the ground. Wisdom, I think, bailing here, and they've just given up point A. Very unusual fight there from the Ghost Peppers and Wisdom.
As soon as NVNO fell, they really had no option unless they all just wanted to die on, which is generally what you'd see happen, but a lot of them did manage to get out, and now they're at the advantage at this next choke, which is a pretty good hold. You definitely want to hold Pharah up on point B, so it gives you multiple fights. Arguably, it can give you 2 or 3, because it is a very long Streets phase on Dorado.
It is a very long Streets phase, and it looks like here a full reset coming in from the Peppers. As we see Commander Hui here now on the Genji, so we now get to see what the opposite team will do with their Genji up. So Commander Hui actually here trying to see if he can build up to that blade relatively quickly. We have Bob out here on the field. We'll take out NVNO. He's actually on the far side of the card. I think they wanted to send him through the choke and onto the other side. Not going to be able to do so as Lumbo coming in here with the Soldier ult. My god, how long has it been since we saw Visor in action? As he takes down 2, Chaos gets taken down, Gasroll getting demeched and will get killed here, and the payload only through the doorways here, Pulse.
They're doing a stellar job of holding this choke, and I know, like Lumbo, my team's Soldier main was also very happy with the buff, so that extra damage that puts him back to his status sort of back during triple tank when he was almost a must pick. And while he's not really a must pick now, significantly better than pretty much the entirety of Goat's meta. So it's good to see him back.
Yeah, especially at this level, you know, a lot of people will argue that that McCree and Widow are better when it comes to hit scan players just because of the burst damage, but not going to be able to do, not at this level. I think you're going to see a lot of Soldier play here, especially in Diamond. 2 early kills here already from Wisdom, as Ghost Peppers having a rough go at it here through the Streets phase. Lucio ult, they're going to be committing it here. On the defensive side, Ghostboss was able to take out NVNO, but Ghost Peppers already down 2 players. They're going to have to come back, reset a little bit before they can attack again. They do have plenty of time here on the clock at 2:40, but they're not going to leave themselves a lot of time here for phase 3.
Definitely, and Dorado's one of those maps where it's hard to finish phase 3 as is, so you don't want to be low on time when getting into it. But like I said, Streets phase is very long, so even if they win this fight, they'll have easily another fight, possibly 2 more, depending on how good Wisdom is at stalling this out and sort of contesting along the way. But as I say this, they're sort of ceding a little bit of ground, and Ghost Peppers are able to get control of high ground, and the card's going to make it most of the way to the choke at this point.
Yeah, Commander Fee here, now possibly trying to get into the back line, maybe go for a blade here. Not going to be able to find anything as everybody looks like they got caught up here in the Graviton up in the front. Here comes his blade now. Let's see what he can do, as it looks like he's able to get Lumbo, but that's all he's going to be able to do now. Ghostboss finishes off Nuke. Dragon here onto the cart to see if they can dislodge Chaos. Not going to be able to do so now, as Chaos here does get grenaded though, so he is by himself, so he's in a little bit of trouble here. Finally gets backed up. able to take out Yaxim, so that is a huge kill. Nano boost now onto Chaos as he's charging in, just letting go on that hammer, trying to see if he can catch the Mercy too. Nup running for his life, uses the Shatter in the backline here. Lumbo still on the back. Chaos going after the Mercy, not going to be able to finish him off, but he's made so much space for his team. But NVNO doing such a great job at stalling the cart, as it looks like he's finally going to get taken down here. Fight will happen right before point C, as Quab and Yaxim here are going to contest. Looks like Gasroll getting T-mech'd here is going to be problematic. I don't think they're going to be able to finish this off. They do not have a shield, they do not have enough DPS, and it looks like Wisdom here are going to be able to hold.
Yeah, NVNO doing, once again, a stellar job, reminiscent of his performance on City Center back on Busan, where it's just on cart, can't do anything about it, and while Chaos aggression was really good and he stalled out the team, it didn't look like the rest of his team really had the focus fire required to take NVNO down, so he gets a really good shatter, knocks down the whole team, gets a lot of kills off of it, but his team has nothing to show for it. And we're coming into this last fight territory, and again, H2O is the only one with an ult up. Gasroll will likely get a bomb, but Lumbo, Axum, Nu, all of them have ults again, and Cyberspace is coming from another dragon, so we're gonna have to play this perfectly if they want to cap point B.
Yeah, Nano Visor coming in now here from Lumbo as he's trying to sort of wipe people out. Lumbo here going a little crazy, takes everybody out. The rest of the Ghost Peppers here not going to be able to connect. Commander Hui coming in on the Hanzo from the high ground, not going to be able to do anything, and that's going to be that. I think they're going to try to roll in, see if they can cap it. Chaos not going to be able to do so. 1 point here from the Ghost Peppers, unable to clear point B. Looking really good here from Wisdom, as they're going to be able to do pretty good here on the side. Not so hard, not too hard, but not too easy either, as Ghost Pepper's defense here is pretty stout, so they're going to have to fight into that.
Yeah, but there's one thing to remember on Dorado, and even though Goats was very strong, these teams seem to be playing 2-2 today, and point B is hard to get running 2-2. It's not necessarily free by any means, because they are going to have to get all the way to point 2, but it's going to depend entirely on their offense and how well Ghost Peppers plays this defense. So not entirely unheard of to hold where that was, especially against teams of similar level, but it is something that is not going to be free for either side. So we're going to have to see both teams sort of play their heart out.
Ready for battle.
Yeah, and looking like here, so Ghost Peppers here will be on defense now. Commander Hui going onto the Junkrat, which is something I wanted to see here with the Junkrat changes coming through. Did you see some of the new PTR changes here coming in for Junkrat, I think, where they're actually going to be increasing the speed and the explosion, like, so it's not going to be as spammy. So that's
fewer bounces per nade, but also it moves faster, so it's going to be a little bit easier to land. At least that's what everyone assumes. It'll probably take a little bit of time to get used to for anyone that's familiar with playing Junkrat, but it's not going to be anything crazy. It's not a full rework. It's just going to be some quality of life changes for his nades. And also probably some quality of life changes for people that hate playing against Junkrats and his mind's just sticking around forever.
Yeah, I think there are going to be some supports who are going to love the fact that the spam is just not going to be that big of a deal. So which means that Junkrat has to be a little bit more accurate. So if you're good at placing those grenades, you're getting a buff. So now it looks like here, NVNO here will be on the Winston in cyberspace there. Takes an early kill onto Chaos. Where was your shield, man? Put your shield
He was
out.
putting it down to totate back, and cyberspace
Just
took
shot.
advantage of it and knocked him down. So they're already up 1 in this fight. The defense has no Rhine, and this is going to be all lights green for the offense. They can just push in here and take whatever they want right now.
Yeah, and as you say that, Ghostpost got taken out by cyberspace, so really no real defense here from the Peppers. As I said, they would have a good defense here. Not so much, as Quab finishes off Ghostpost and Chaos here as a last-second contest coming in, as Gasroll Hill trying his best to actually do anything, but it is all WisdomOW here. Baby Diva Gasroll here trying to sort of stall it as much as they can. 5:22 to work through the street space here to get to that point B. My goodness, Wisdom have it all to play for here.
Yeah, and at where this fight is being taken now, they're taking it all the way at the choke between B and C. So they're going to get a lot of free cart distance on this. Easily past the first choke into this like middle of the streets phase. But they're all the way back in spawn right now. The defense won't even be able to set up until it gets to the next choke at the archway.
Yeah, and like this is just turning out really perfect here for Wisdom, as it looks like Ghost Pepper's look in a little bit of disarray here. Lumbo already to 86% on the blade. He's just going to be waiting here waiting for the go time, as he's going to try to build it up as best as he can. He's got a lot of targets to shoot at. Gas Roll here is in deep trouble. Doesn't want to get demeched here. He's going to have to bail. And now the blade is up here for Lumbo, as he's just sort of looking for a target, but he doesn't really need to have to worry about it, as it looks like Chaos here is into the backline trying to stall, but for 4 minutes, it's an extremely long time. Quab here able to take down Gas Roll. Commander Hui takes down NVNO, but the fight here still with WisdomOW, as they finally take down Gas Roll, and now are going to be able to move in on the members here of the Peppers and be very, very aggressive. Diva Bomb gets sent onto the top of the area. Chaos got blown up as he was jumping up. It's just been a bunch of bad luck being strung together. Quab taking out Ghost Post here, and Payload will move. Lumbo hasn't even had to use the blade yet as he takes down Commander Hui. This is not looking good at all here for the Peppers.
No, it's really not. Gasroll's going to be able to stall us out a little bit more. Chaos is back, but there's just a continual 6v3 on the cart for Wisdom right now, and they're just taking advantage of it. They're taking every foot, and they're not... There's really no defense coming out right now. They haven't regrouped well enough, and they can just sustain this as long as they want.
Yeah, Cyberspace taking out Ghost Post again, as he's just been on. Chaos here getting the nano boost here, trying to get into the background area, maybe see if he can sort of stall out the support. Targets the X, and here comes the blade here from Lumbo. He's going to be going into the background. Oh, he got blown up! Gas Roll sent the bomb and was able to catch Lumbo, who was trying to sort of speed himself through, but was still in range of the bomb. Here comes a bomb from Quab now, trying to see if he can get anybody, and down goes Commander Hui, as he was right about to blade and gets taken out here. Yaxim and Quab now combining on kills. The golden box of victory is right there. Looks like Osiren coming in here on the Hammond, just trying to do anything that he can here, but not going to be able to do so. Commander Hui coming back here on the Genji, trying to stall, not going to be able to do so. Z gets taken out by Cyberspace. Cyberspace has been huge here on the Widow. Gas Roll coming in, gets immediately demeched. It's just a game of stalls at this point, and as Osiren coming back here onto the Hammond, trying to stall as best as she can, not going to be able to do so. This is just stall city here, folks. Chaos coming back here on the Winston. Death's coming through left and right, and Wisdom treat Dorado as if it was their playground and take a 2-0 lead here on the Ghost Peppers.
Yeah, that was a very long stall, but at no point did Wisdom look threatened. They were just had Cyberspace set up in the back, getting body shots, headshots, any type of damage on them, completely uncontested, because when you're stalling like that, there's nothing you can do about a Widow that's a mile and a half away.
Yeah, and like the thing about it is especially if a Widow is hitting her shots, and Cyberspace absolutely was, so absolutely fantastic.
Thanks for the love.
Kill participation there on the side of Quab, 69% kill participation, absolutely great there, as it looks like we will now be going into Hanamura, possibly take a little bit of a break here. Don't know what the teams are going to do. Halftime is optional here if they want to take it, so very interesting here to see. Do Ghost Peppers want to sort of reset a little bit and maybe talk it over? There are a couple of people on the bench, that guy Tyler, Nursey, Thick Daddy, Jackson, that could come in, maybe refresh this lineup a little bit, because they do seem a little off.
Yeah, and it looks like they are going to be making pretty much all of the swaps. They're swapping out 4 out of 6 of their roster coming into this next one, so either they have a plan or they're just winging it at this point and giving people some playtime. Again, nothing really at stake for Ghost Peppers in this match, but everything at stake for Wisdom. It can change their seed. It can still they're still going to make playoffs, but who they play against, it might mean the difference between playing against like Ghost Peppers again later on or boosted. So you got to be really careful about that.
Absolutely. So wholesale swaps here coming in for the Ghost Peppers. Thick Daddy, Jackson, that guy Tyler, Nursey, all coming in here for the Peppers as they will be switching sides here. So going in, it will be Hanamura here in as the third map, but we are switching. The Peppers here originally in red will now be in blue, meaning they will be on defense first here on the side for Hanamura and Kings Row. Any advantages to these particular maps being on defense first? I think for Hanamura, I mean, if they're able to get an initial stall here, 2 CP, you get a full hold here on A, and it could be a very quick one here for the Peppers. But, with wholesale changes here coming in for the Peppers, I'm not even going to sure what they're going to be running.
Yeah, there are some things that come to mind. In general, that guy Tyler has almost exclusively played DPS on a Zen, so
Hmm.
very damage specific characters. And with Thick Daddy in, that always makes me think they're going to run a hog, because when you have someone that likes to be thick, then there's no other choice than hog, in all honesty. So, especially on Hanamura Point A, there are plenty of good hog spots if you want to be strong and have like a point A hold even. Diva's still very good, of course, because Diva is Diva, but Hanamura Point A lets you sort of use that. And even down the line, if they're keeping this comp for like Kings Row, again, that's one of those maps where you can run a hog again, especially since Goats isn't always meta, and Goats was one of those things that Hog was just not good into. So
Yeah.
Wisdom OW is really not playing that triple triple, so I don't think they need to worry about it, which means they don't need to be worried about running a Hog, because if you have a Genji in your backline, then a Hog's a pretty good counter for that.
Yo, yeah, absolutely. So, last minute change here. Commander Hui actually will actually switch to the bench, and Ghost Boast here will stay online. The weird thing is I'm looking at the Ghost Peppers lineup here. So it'll be Thick Daddy, Ghost Boast, Chaos, Jackson, that guy Tyler, and Nursey. I'm seeing like quad DPS is basically what I'm seeing here. I think Daddy can play DPS. He can play
Yeah.
off tank here, but I really don't see a second healer. So I'm wondering if they're going to run some sort of weird comp and maybe switch Tyler, who is the flex, maybe send Tyler here onto the off healer. Uh,
Yeah, that's what I think they're going to be doing.
yeah.
And honestly, I see this comp. I see Thick Daddy, which makes me think Hog, and I see Jackson, which makes me think Torb, because we've seen that way more times than I think their coaches. But again, that's a comp that was running contenders. Torb, Hog, Arisla, first point.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
I kind of want to see it coming into this map, especially since it's going to be very different. We haven't seen any Arisa tonight. We haven't seen any Torb tonight, and well, there's probably a good reason for not seeing any Torb tonight. You got to appreciate it when it comes out. So
Yeah, and Jackson does like to play the Tor, but Jackson is also a very good hit scan specialist. So Jackson is an excellent Widow here. So he'll take over possibly for as the Widow here on the side of the Peppers. So casters here are going to be ready. So just letting Yaxim know that when that the next map here is going to be Hanamura. So the thing with the 222 here, and us seeing Thick Daddy here on the field, it's like he could theoretically have a field day here if Wisdom, who has not been playing goats, decides to go with a lighter DPS lineup, and we could see the Hog thrive here at the choke
yeah,
here on point A.
and I will say Wisdom has looked absolutely stellar tonight on 222,
Hmm.
especially when they're coming in from this previous meta that they didn't look so hot in. And when you're just getting outplayed like that, sort of as Ghost Peppers, it's I wonder if it's because they're
Traveling to
experimenting, or if it's
Hanamura.
because they have something else going on, or they just aren't taking it quite as seriously. But I'd definitely like to see some of those variant
Initiating
comps come out. So
breach.
like Arisa Torb. But like there's always some weird stuff that could come up whenever Jackson's playing, just because Torb, he likes Torb. We know this.
Yeah, the thing about it is we have pretty decent insight here, as we do have a common person linked to the Ghost Pepper. So if you've been watching the stream lately, you'll notice that we do Pulse and I do a lot of Ghost Peppers games, and that is because their coach Connor is also coach here for the Angry Bees. So he does double duty here on in Owlet, and for
Ready for
us.
battle.
And at this point, Angry Beast is only really playing in open division. So, you know, and as we see Jackson coming in on not a traditional pick, we do see the Symmetra come out on defense. So going old school, maybe.
Yeah, and again, like, this is one of those things where I see this lineup with them, and I know there's some, to put it lightly, some bullshit going on.
And I haven't seen turret placement like this literally since the first World Cup. So the idea here is to trap the team into the rock garden and literally basically trap him in there, and then they'll be raining death from above. So they're not even going to play the choke. So the idea here is that they're going to see them. They're not going to see the turrets as they try to come in. Try to see if they can sort of force Wisdom to basically come straight to the point. They'll be shot as they walk across, and they're going to...
Wisdom's playing this incredibly intelligently. They saw the Bastion, instantly swapped the Sim, so they can just teleport to point.
So Sim Wars it is. So it's going to be interesting to see what Jackson does here, because he might put a teleport back into the side. We saw in a match yesterday where the team teleported on the other side, and they teleported right into the opposing Bastion. So very interesting here as the teleport here gets set here, as that guy Tyler would now teleport to the other side, but 2 already down here for the Peppers. So very intelligent play. Tyler actually gets teleported up onto the high ground and shooting down. Not going to be enough though, as it looks like the Ghost Peppers there were out-symmetried.
Well, this is something that we see Wisdom come out on, and they haven't run it all night. They were running goats right now. They were running goats at least until they swapped the Sim. And when you have that level of point presence, you're letting the other team play into you. They made the proper counter swap, and they're just playing for brawls right now.
Yeah, they absolutely are, and that was actually a great move approach here onto the point. They used the teleporter to teleport onto the far side. Wall coming up here from Lumbo, so he will be able to automatically use a 5,000 damage wall, and they're just going to soak it up, and they're going to finish with over 6 minutes on the clock. Wisdom just roll the Peppers. My goodness.
Score 0.
Well,
well,
I called the funny defensive comp, but that was just a great counter pick, honestly. They came out with goats. They saw that they were not wanting to run goats into that, made the one swap to counter what the other team was running, and there wasn't any counterplay going on whatsoever in compositions or in strategies from Ghost Peppers at all. They're just like, they wanted to play Bastion and Sim, and boy did they die on that ledge.
Yeah, they did. I absolutely did. I also respect the approach here coming from the far side. They actually teleported to the far side here via the Symmetra, and you notice that all of Ghost Peppers had actually set up on the high ground far side, so they weren't even ready for them to just sort of walk in from the side. They were already on the point when they realized that they had walked from the side and didn't take a frontal approach. So lots of surprises in there for the Ghost Peppers. So contributed to the fact that there is 6:22 in the time bank here. So they're going to want something quick, just as quick, if not quicker, which I don't know if is even possible to beat that time. That is
I don't think there's anything faster than that. They didn't lose. They only lost like a total of 5 seconds, I think. A little bit from Jackson stalling on point A, and then a little bit from Thick Daddy walking onto point, I think, as he died on point B. So it's going to be very hard to beat that. It's going to be very hard to beat that with a Mei, especially without running a Sim. So if they see this Mei, or since cyberspace is actually hiding, if they walk in and die to the Mei, they need to make instant swaps to be able to deal with this.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe go to a Mei of their own so that they can't put a wall up and basically try to sort of block the possible wall that could come through. So very interesting here, like what they're going to try to do. Cyberspace actually gets picked off by Jackson as they flank in. That's go time here for the Peppers. Big grenade there by that guy Tyler as he's able to catch Lumbo, and NVNO actually gets taken down too. So very quick fight here. It's pretty much done as Yaxim here is going to fall onto the point. He doesn't have the protection of Quab here. Quab now just basically trying to sort of die on the point, earn some extra time, but they're going to have over 7 minutes to push here onto point B.
For a map that's colloquially known as Hanamura, this is, I think, 2 of the fastest point A takes I've seen in recent memory. And if they roll this into a point B take, and there's over 12 minutes combined on the clock for Hanamura, that would be nuts.
It would be very, very interesting. So here we go. No ults up for anybody, and a couple of switches already coming in here for the side of Wisdom. So now, but that did not work in their favor. They do lose Nursey, but 2 kills to two Ghost Peppers here. NVNO got a great charge there onto Chaos, but Thick Daddy here still on the point, and a Dragon coming out will finish off Lumbo. They're going to be able to cap it. Do they cap it with a faster time? They absolutely do. What are we watching?
I don't know what universe we just came into, but this is almost a combined 13 minutes on a Hanamura remaining. I don't think I've ever seen this.
I don't either. I've definitely never seen this. I've seen 2 teams finish with about 8 minutes total left, a team with 4:30, another team with 3:30. I have never seen both teams try to go for the Hanamura record, which I think is like 6:45.
I think they just said it twice.
Yeah.
I think they absolutely just said it twice.
We need to check the records here. I think Owlet doesn't keep stats on how quick a map is taken, but we're definitely going to report this one because this is some insane stuff. And get this, even though Wisdom finished it with 6:22 on the clock, they're the ones on offense first because they're 10 seconds slower. How about that?
Yeah.
What kind of weird world do we live in, Pulse, right now? Wow.
I mean, we just saw a full round of Hanamura with only like 2 ults in total coming out. The Symmetra wall from Wisdom's offense.
Yeah.
And then the Dragon Strike from Ghost Pepper's offense. So nothing makes sense anymore. And we're just gonna talk about this for another minute because we see the exact same things coming out from the offense right now, but the defense did definitely adapt. They're not running that Torv anymore. They're not running the Bastion. They're not running the same stuff. So this should be, in theory, a little bit more standard Hanamura round coming into this. They're already battling at the choke, and Cyberspace is already the first one to fall as Brig.
Oh yeah, so not going to be an immediate take here, as they do lose their Brigitte. So that means here that it looks like Ghost Peppers here are going to be trying in to maybe get an extra stagger kill and definitely force them back into spawn. Tons of time left. It's over 5:45 here left on the clock. As Thick Daddy here just trying to sort of hold the choke here. Big shatter coming in from NVNO. Yaxim gets both Chaos and Nursey. So here we go. Wisdom actually getting delayed for a little bit. And now all the kills have been going the way of Wisdom. Looks like Thick Daddy just sort of bailed and just sort of jumped. So here we go again, Pulse. It's going to be over 5 minutes. They'll get 30 seconds here on the clock to push on to point B. Jackson just trying his best to maybe stall it out for a little more. But they'll have 5:45 to try to push on to B.
Yeah, and NVNO got a really big shatter when they were setting up for that fight, and they also canceled Chaos' shatter. So they have a Graviton and they have a Dragon Strike, which is what they exactly need to end this fight, but there is a Rally and a Zenyatta ultimate to come up, which is exactly what they need to keep going.
Yeah, they've got that sort of Graviton Dragon combo ready here. On the side of the Peppers. High Noon actually was able to get Quab and Cyberspace, so immediately they get stalled out. They keep all their ults here, and this might be a long offensive push here for Wisdom because it is all ultimates here on the side of Ghost Peppers.
Yeah, Ghost Boast sort of shutting down that push early by doing a completely YOLO High Noon from behind the offensive team as they're trying to push in. But it completely shuts down their push and makes sure that they can't just roll onto point B. It gives this team a lot of time to build up ults that they needed to sort of keep going, and they already have 5 ults coming in this next fight. So if we want to see Wisdom cap in this fight, it's going to be really hard, but it's likely going to have to take an eco push or 2 to get through this.
Yeah, what Wisdom needs to do is they need to start drawing out ults here. There are a lot of combo possibilities for the Peppers, and maybe you take like a Dragon grab combo here in the corner to make sure that that's out of the way before you try another push. So they're going onto the high ground here, going for the top. There's the grab. You're going to see the Dragon come out here in a second. So there it is. He does get Noob down and NVNO, so that's going to be that for that push. They're not going to want to do anything else here. Bomb actually got used there also here, I think, by Quab. But Jackson finishes off both Quab and Yaxim. And they did get them to use about 3 ults, I think, as that guy Tyler actually switched. And now, even a little bit more even here in the ult economy.
Yeah, they used Dragon Strike, but they did drag out Bomb from Quab because it looked like he thought the fight wasn't quite over, as if he could remech, because it was purple. So I think it was more of a remech ult than anything, but they did end up using it. So they do have a grav, a sound barrier, probably a shatter because they have that grav. NVNO will have no problem building up to 100% if he just swings into it. So they are at a little bit of advantage coming into this fight. They do need to be aware of Bob and have plans for when that comes out, this fight, if they want to be able to win this map on this push.
Yeah, Lucio ult here will come and protect the members here of the Peppers. Counter Lucio ult here, but Jackson and Ghostpost do what they need to do. NVNO here just going to fight by himself here onto the point. Catches a lucky charge there onto Chaos, who had his back turned, and now looks like the fight has turned the way here of Wisdom as Thick Daddy gets taken down. Jackson not going to be able to do anything. He sends a dragon onto the point here. He's going to clear it out a little bit. Chaos actually comes in, gets charged into NVNO and immediately killed as not going to be able to do so. Bob gets stalled onto the point here, gets moved off the point, will get eliminated, and now it is full stall time here for the Ghost Peppers as they're trying to sort of survive here onto the point. Great transcendence here coming out by Yaxam as he's trying to do it. Chaos with a big shatter was able to sort of even up the fight. They've got to stay here onto the point here or they're going to cap it. Jackson trying his best. They've got to come down. Not going to be anybody to cap it. So therefore, Wisdom here will now go to 4 and with I think about 240, 230 here on the clock.
Yeah, it was around 230 I think after stalls. Yeah, 224.
Yeah.
And again, they got into a position where they had everyone up. Cyberspace was just on high ground, chunking down. It was a really good shatter from Chaos to try and end that. But by charging off the point, he's sort of got rid of all of his team's chances to stall and put it in the gutter in front of Hanamura point B.
Yeah. So, like, you
got
got
only so much you can do there, especially by not swapping to stall heroes, because the first thing to swap to a stall, they wanted to all use their ults, was the Mei. And even then, that was a little too late, if anything.
Well, you know, the good thing about it is that Peppers have 6 minutes, 30 seconds in the time bank.
Yeah. Peppers do have more time, like you said, and they did chunk off 4 minutes for Hanamura, which is a little bit more reasonable for Hanamura, but still a pretty fast attack by Wisdom. And it's nuts that we might be going into this seeing a final score of like 6-5 or like 5-4 or something for Hanamura, because that's not something you see every day.
Nope, not at all. And, you know, it would be sort of hilarious to see a 6-6 draw because it would just be utterly ridiculous. But here we go. Ghost Peppers here now going in round 2 as they will try to see if they can cap the point again relatively quickly. Last time they were able to catch the Mei who was hiding behind the wall, and that just precipitated into a snowball for the Peppers here. Now, no Mei here on the side of Wisdom. They're going with a more traditional comp here. Noob is going to be looking for a big grenade here to catch the members. Lumbo actually catches Jackson early, so that might stall up the push here. No Hanzo here to sort of do any sort of shield damage, as spam damage coming up from the high ground was able to catch Jackson up. So Chaos here is going to stall here by the door, and they're going to have to wait here about 5-10 seconds.
Yeah, and Lumbo getting out did a really aggressive flank by dropping down through that window and get skin of his teeth with only like 10 health left. It looks like Chaos is trying to pull an NVNO and build up that shatter early, but ends up falling because of it, just swinging at the choke by himself. Yeah, so they're going to have to fully regroup and wait it out if they want to try and set up for their next push.
Ooh, NVNO there was actually knocked down, but he was able to sort of stay alive. Thick Daddy is glowing here, does have high energy, but no main tank here. Finally, Chaos actually comes back. He was trying to build up that shatter, but NVNO's already got it, so he's got to be super careful here. Waiting to come in. Thick Daddy coming around here. He's also got to be careful because NVNO's going to pull that shatter out at any second. Gets caught with the shatter. There it comes as he does catch everyone. Lumbo combines with the tire, and it is going to be a hold here as Peppers get sent packing. Back to the spawn they go. 5:07 here on the clock.
Thankfully, Peppers didn't invest anything into that fight. They nanoed NVNO and he went swinging, and they tried to purple it. But at the same time, they end up blowing. We saw the defense blow Nano, they blew Shatter and Tire, which was pretty much everything they have up. So they need to be careful of the tactical visor from Cyberspace, but you don't really need to be careful of it when you have a Dragon Strike and Grav combo coming up.
Yeah, and you know, also Cyberspace being dead doesn't help either. Here comes they don't even combo it because they realize that everybody was pretty much already low. So they're actually going to save that dragon, as Jackson only at 92 will have it here. They're going to try to snowball heal Pulse. 4 ults here. Nursey got picked off early, wasn't able to use any of her ults, and now will have the ult on the back of this. Jackson gets picked off on the way in, so they're probably going to have to wait for him to come back, but here they come.
Yeah, if they want to snowball this, they have to make good use of Shatter and Dragon Strike. The only counterplay available right now is is honestly only really Yaxim's Transcendence, and even then, it's pretty easy to kill people through a Transcendence, especially when you have a Dragon Strike coming through.
Exactly.
So Yaxim absolutely cannot be caught by this Shatter.
Yeah, so he's got to stay alive. Jackson actually takes down Cyberspace, who was poking here. So 6v5 advantage is Thick Daddy trying to sort of push. Chaos going immediately to the point here to see if he can move the tanks off of the high ground. Here comes the Dragon, as it looks like it's going to catch NVNO, and down he goes. That Transcendence was not quick enough. That guy, Tyler, though, gets taken out by Lumbo's Tire. So we're even here, 5v5. As I say that, Cyberspace pulls out the visor and takes down Thick Daddy and Jackson. So that's going to be that, as Cyberspace here chasing people down, Nursey going down, and that attack is stalled up. But they still are ahead of Wisdom here, as they are only at 3 minutes and 38 seconds.
Yeah, in time bank and in alt bank, because the Wisdom invested everything in their defense again. They threw out a nano when they were up by 4 people, and Wisdom has kind of been doing this a lot on Hanamura, where they just overinvest into every single fight. So now we see an opportunity for them to sort of roll the fight late by counter-shattering and having a nano available, where the defense only has the shatter available.
You know, luckily for Wisdom, like, the movement here from Ghost Peppers has been just slightly off. The team is just sort of not all there, I think, and it is actually keeping Wisdom in the game. Quab here gets charged as Chaos gets shattered, as Chaos went for the charge, gets taken out. Thick Daddy here now going to be the benefit of the nano boost, as he's going to be trying to sort of build up and eliminate NVNO here as he tries to see what he can do. Gets slept. He's going to have to bubble. He's going to get taken down here, and now it looks like Ghost Pepper is going to have to go back to the drawing board, as they're going to fall behind of Wisdom here, as they're going to drop below 230.
And now it's in the territory where Ghost Peppers is going to lose their advantage in Hanamura, because they will not be able to finish with more time than Wisdom at this point. And they're still up in alt bank because they have this Grav Dragon Strike coming online again. And Wisdom did invest everything once again into the last fight. So Wisdom's playing a very dangerous game here.
Yeah, they are playing a very dangerous game. They've abandoned the point again here, and Chaos getting charged there. NVNO has just been winning those fights in the neutral, as he's just been able to sort of abuse him. And down goes Chaos, and down go the rest of the Ghost Peppers here. Very quick offense, so luckily for the Ghost Peppers, they didn't actually spend that much time trying to push on this.
It seems like every time Ghost Peppers try to push up, they're taking these 1v1s that stalls out their backline a lot, so Chaos gets stranded on point. And it's very weird seeing this level of synergy come out from a team that was pretty decent at GOATs last stage, which is such a synergy-based composition. They're sort of stranding their front line a lot. Their back line is sort of a little bit late to the parties, but they are getting consistent picks. Jackson's picking off Cyberspace early into this fight.
Ooh, a Tire goes up, takes out Chaos, as a Dragon gets onto the point, trying to see if they can open it up. Lumbo going huge there. Will finish off Thick Daddy too. Frontline tanks are gone, so there's just nothing they can sort of do about it. So with 1:07 left on the clock, we're in last push territory.
They have likely 2 fights coming up. I would say 2 just because they will definitely be able to stall. They might have 2 full fights if they take this one fast, though. There are some composition changes coming out from Ghost Peppers. Jackson switching over to Tracer, Chaos fully invested on Winston now, and Thick Daddy fully invested on Diva. So they're adopting a more dive-oriented play to try and take this final point, to force them off high ground, and maybe force their tanks to play a little bit closer together with their honor.
Yeah, as it looks like Ghostpost there is able to take Cyberspace down. Nursey got trapped onto the high ground here, so they've got to make sure that they cap this point with at least a little bit of time remaining. Jackson got slept, was able to sort of stay alive. Nanoboost went onto the Chaos, and now it's just going to be a matter of stall. They want to just sort of take this into overtime, and you know what? They could actually just sort of give it up and win it on point A if they really wanted to. Cyberspace, using the visor, is able to take Chaos and Jackson down. 11 seconds left. I don't think anybody's going to be able to make it, Pulse. It looks like,
Not with that guy Tyler just waiting outside spawn for something to happen.
yeah,
He's might have been able to touch, but Nursey falls to a junk mine at the last second, and they will not be able to force overtime on Hanamura.
not able to finish off Hanamura, and WisdomOW. My oh my, they get the win on Hanamura and definitely lock themselves up a win in this match, as they are now up 3-0 here on the second ranked Ghost Peppers. What are we seeing here, Pulse?
It looks like Ghost Peppers is going to need some more time playing this patch because they just do not look nearly as good as Wisdom does tonight. Wisdom is playing a lot looser, a lot more phrase, throwing ults as soon as they get them, not really playing for the long game, but it's working so well for them. They're making it pretty much hell for the Ghost Peppers to engage on point defenses, making it hard for them to get through chokes in any sense of the word, and just in general outplaying them. Like, Koth was very one-sided. There was a map that was 99-99, and then Wisdom won the other two 100-0. And this is not the Ghost Peppers we've been seeing the rest of the stage.
It is not indeed. And now we get to see a large Wombat will be coming in here for NVNO, as the match is won. So last minute switches here for the Peppers, and you're right. I think it's just maybe a little bit of not being comfortable on this patch. And, Peppers have a tendency sometimes, they are very individually talented. So let me tell you, so they are a group of vastly talented individual Overwatch players, but with the meta change here and goats you're not playing into goats v goats, you sort of have to get those DPS back into shape again, trying to figure out what their roles are and how you sort of want to play it and use those advantages. Looking a little rusty. I think it's more rust than anything else, but they also know it's like this match is also a good sort of place to sort of figure out what they maybe want to do in the playoffs, as this is going to be their final sort of warm-up game as they go in.
And I think the weirdest part from what we've seen from the Ghost Peppers tonight is the lack of synergy between the supports and the tanks, which is, I say it's weird because those are sort of the people that have been around since the beginning of Ghost Peppers. Like back at the beginning of the stage one, it was all supports and tanks were the ones that were showing up for them, and they sort of added these DPS players later on. But it looks like there's just something wrong with their comms, or they're just not on the same page tonight like they.
Yeah, and you can also chalk it up to an off night. Sometimes I think that does happen. And, we're playing on a Tuesday night here. Possibly Pepper's just not necessarily ready for this match. Maybe didn't have any practice going in. They're still getting used to the patch. Just a whole bunch of stuff can be going on here. I don't want to take anything away, though, from WisdomOW, as they have been excellent here against the Peppers. Peppers have a tendency sometimes to use that individual skill to sort of win them through fights, and they're just not going to be able to do it this time. So, Wisdom looking very, very good. We go into King's Row for Wisdom here. They want to take the 4-0 because they do want that sort of differential to help them possibly sort of rise up. Maybe take the fourth, take the fifth spot here away. Positive differential will help, but for the Ghost Peppers now, it's just a matter of getting used to the comps and making sure that their comps here are going to be okay. And, maybe you want to get a win off on your final map before you head into the playoffs. Something to be said about a little bit of momentum going into the playoffs, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you should take most scrims and matches with a certain level of seriousness, even if you are guaranteed playoffs, because sometimes it throws you in some habits that you don't want to pick up. But like I said, I really don't want to diminish how Wisdom have been playing tonight, because they've definitely stepped it up. They are playing things that they want to be playing. Yaxim absolutely dominating on that play of the game that we saw from Hanamura, just clicking heads. Lumbo has been a blast to watch on Genji and Junkrat so far, and Cyberspace has been clicking quite a few heads on Widow and Soldier, so very good play coming out from them.
Yeah, it's been very, very good here. So, kudos to them. Must give them all the credit in the world here, because, taking down a team that has lost, what was it, only 2 matches in total? I think two they've lost
Ghost
two.
Peppers is 17-2 right now.
Yeah, so with this match they'll go 17-3. So theoretically, there's only 3 teams that have beaten them in this entire tournament, and one of them was
Ready
boosted,
for
one of
battle.
them was Yes, which we also casted, and and this is a feather in the cap here of Wisdom OW, taking a win here off of the number 2 team here in the Majors division.
Attackers
So
incoming
very
in 30
much momentum
seconds.
here. So look out, playoffs. Wisdom OW is coming. So just a little bit of great momentum here for Wisdom OW to take into their final 2 games and into the playoffs here as we get ready for that. That starts next week, folks, I think. Might start week after. Check the calendars.
I
Check the
think
postings.
the following week is
Yeah.
the playoffs.
Oh,
The
you're
first
right.
run should be on the 8th and 9th, I want to say, but it's that week.
Mhm.
Whatever Monday and Tuesday are.
Attackers
Yep, so
incoming.
1 week for teams to get ready
Defend objective
and
A.
prepare as we will go into the Owlet playoffs for both minors and majors. So, and then check your listings as to where those games are going to be casted. Cyberspace here immediately getting hooked by Thick Daddy. We get to see Thick Daddy finally on the Hog. It's not something I don't think we saw him. He didn't play the Hog here on Hanamura at all, did we? See him, Pulse?
I don't recall it, but this is something that is an interesting composition because we haven't seen it come up a lot. They are running triple tank, which is kind of a throwback to early Overwatch, back when people would play Hog on the King's Row, and I was
Yeah.
talking about it earlier. And this is such a pick-based comp. If the Hog hooks anyone, you basically get a free pick. Jackson on the Hanzo also putting a lot of pressure on the backline or people abusing high ground. And now the point's entirely them because they got those early picks. They have Tyler set up on a back high ground as Ana, and they're just pressing W all the way into the subway station.
Yeah, Chaos here not relenting. He's just going to try to take out some aggression here onto Quab as they're getting chased all the way back. They haven't taken the point yet, which means that the spawns are going to come out of the space station and they're going to just Hanzo right into it as Noob gets taken out. He had nowhere to go. Only one person on point as the fight here is taken all the way close to B. They're looking for really big stalls. Chaos there taking a crazy charge going into the back as now Wombat and Quab here now sort of trying to push in as it looks like here they see an opening. Wombat gets slept as the payload's starting to finally just roll out of spawn, and they make themselves an easy spawn A, but the fight here sort of matriculated itself all the way into the bookshop as Thick Daddy now here gets purpled but gets immediately canceled as he slept while he was ulting there, so not going to be able to do anything about it. Quab is slept, he gets hooked, he puts a bubble on himself, and a Graviton comes out, and a good dragon combo as Cyberspace here able to eliminate both tanks. They'll be able to move on the payload and finish off this fight.
And Ghost Post finally getting picked out of Pilot Diva form as the offense sort of returns to spawn to make sure they're not getting spawn camped. But Thick Daddy gets another hook on Cyberspace to start off this next fight.
Oh, gotta be careful, son. It's been a while since you played against a Hog. You gotta watch out for those hooks, man. You can't position yourselves all willy-nilly and expect to survive if you're especially on a DPS now. I think a lot of players are going to have to get used to that because they haven't played some of these players in a long time. As Yaxim gets taken out there, Thick Daddy here just looking like the Thick Daddy of old, just roaming around on that Hog, just trying to pick off people just randomly now here as he's going all the way to B. Payload slowly and surely coming up around the corner as he is hunting. Thick Daddy is hunting now, and he's just positioned himself on point B, waiting for anybody to come out. Ooh, misses the hook there, but Noob's got to be really careful as Jackson's going to be able to come out here with the arrows. 3:25 here left on the clock. The payload is coming around to B, and I don't know if Wisdom OW here wants to contest or not. There's so many players here already at point B. They actually do get the cap here, so Osiren actually blew the Transcendence, I think, to save Chaos's life, but all the kills have still been going the way of the Ghost Peppers.
Yeah, Thick Daddy's just looking for kills. I think he's only missed 2 hooks so far this map.
Oh, what a
I've been
hook!
following him since point A. He's only missed 2. And this is the kind of what we got used to seeing Thick Daddy back on in Microsoft Excel. Just pressing W, landing his shifts, getting these one-shot combos. It's been nuts watching him play like this again.
Yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic, and all Chaos really has to do is just be careful he doesn't want to get booped and just let those hooks come in as Nano Lumbo gets sent into oblivion, and it looks like Chaos got booped. That was what he had to be careful of. Thick Daddy here just looking for hooks to send people into the netherworld here on the other side. He's getting ulted. He's going to be the benefit of a nano boost here. Just a little much as he's trying to get Cyberspace and Noob here into the background. He kills them all. So just you follow around Thick Daddy as he's just trying to kill everyone. Wombat now just got to face himself to figure out Thick Daddy. Now he's not going to be able to stop it. Dragon onto the point here. Big grenade, and that is going to be that. My God. Oh, Thick Daddy of old, where have you been?
Score.
That was a ride to watch. I followed Thick Daddy from point A pretty much. And I only saw, I think, 3 missed hooks. One of them got canceled because of weird walls, but I'm not counting that one. So I think he only missed like 3 hooks in total.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's been very, very crazy. So pretty insane here from both of them. So now, what is going on here? So just trying to reset my stream.
Now it's we get to watch part 2 of Thick Daddy versus the world as he takes on the 6 evil X's from Wisdom.
So Thick Daddy
Absolutely
Pilgrim.
nuts.
Yeah, Thick Daddy Pilgrim here taking on the 6 evil X's right here on King's Row. Let's see. I don't see the rock and roll shirts on the Thick Daddy right now. So
I don't see any shirts on Thick Daddy right now. He's playing hog again. And this is something that I think Wisdom Overwatch forgot that they had to prepare for, because this is the worst we've seen them play all night. And it's not really even worse, it's just they're finally getting taken advantage of. All of their aggressive positioning, all of their fast and loose playstyle that I mentioned earlier, that sort of how they were playing the game is now not available to them, and they look almost powerless.
yeah. Yeah, you know, the thing about it is maybe they were playing, you know, the other thing is that maybe Ghost Peppers were playing a little tight. Maybe not realizing, hey, you know what, we can just sort of do our thing here and have that flexibility. And, you know, that's a part of getting used to the meta that's going on right now. So it looks like here, Chaos here on the Rhine will probably play sort of a standard defense here. Wombat now will be doing the main tanking that Envy is now gone. Ghostpost here trying to see if he can get in there. Not going to be able to do so. They are playing with the Sombra here, so Cyberspace trying to see if maybe he can get like a hook in. They're not going to need it. So Osiris and Chaos are both down. So down go the members here of the Peppers. They're going to get rolled here on point A. Thick Daddy did get a hook there onto Wombat, who immediately got res, but they're not going to put up any more of a defense here if they really, really should sort of back up and not really worry about it. And now Chaos here on the other side of the arch, trying to see if he can get any kills. Not going to be able to do so. Jackson gets Lumbo here, but that's just basically inconsequential. They might sort of go in on that, but they're pretty smart. They're going to stay on the other side of the arch, and probably just going to take the fight here and wait for the payload to sort of show up.
And Quab almost donating his mech to the Jackson and Ghost Post cause right there, but things are looking pretty good for Ghost Peppers as they're pushing in on this. They do lose Jackson, unfortunately, but there's still so many. Well, I say that, and turns out Lumbo decides to start landing all the shots because Lumbo just picks up 3K as they decide to push through this arch.
Well, that was on the back of a great shatter there by Wombat. He caught everyone. And, like, there we go. So Peppers now on the back foot. So looking like losing that fight here. Oh, Ghost Post, who was in pilot form, got blown up. So big stall here coming out on the side of the Ghost Pepper Cyberspace. Actually, he's got the EMP and is just going to be hiding out in the back. Maybe try to sort of pick up his Zen if they see it. No, but it looks like Osiris here is with the rest of the crowd. That guy Tyler's got to be super careful because there is a Sombra right behind him. Payload's already gone right up next to point B here as Chaos here is going to take this fight. There's 4:28 here on the clock. Chaos being a little too aggressive gets taken out, and the Rhine down means that it is going to be go time here for WisdomOW. Ghost Post here on the high ground trying to deal with what has been coming through, but not going to be able to stop Wombat and the rest of Wisdom here. He's discorded and he's got to be super careful. Cyberspace here with the hack, not going to be able to do anything there as Ghost Post here is going to have to force it back up. They are going to be waiting for Chaos to sort of take the spot. They actually blow the Transcendence here, or are going to take the fight. Here comes Chaos. They've got 4 ults if they want to use it. They can use the EMP here to ensure themselves a win on this fight, but a big shatter here by Chaos. He goes immediately for the supports, and boom! On the back of that bomb, Ghostpost takes out Yaxim, who's getting charged anyway by Chaos, and they're going to be able to hold here at point B with 3:40 on the clock.
And Ghost Peppers have to invest a lot to make sure they keep that point. But it was a little bit weird because Cyberspace held onto that EMP for close out that fight earlier. Had a big 5 or 6 man EMP, but because they waited on it, we started to see picks roll in the favor of Ghost Peppers, and they lost the advantage that they had, as they could have kept point B there.
Yeah, they could have, and now they've got to take an extra fight here, and they don't want to lose it. They have the huge ult advantage, so if they just use this pretty smartly, they should have a pretty decent ult bank left going into point C, and they sort of want that. Yaxim here gets takes out Jackson, so there's an opening here with no Widow on the field. They should be a little bit more aggressive, but Wombat here being a little passive. Here comes the EMP, and they're going to combine this with the bomb. No shield going to be available, and Chaos saw his death just coming flying at him. There's nothing he could do about that. Point B here is going to be a take, and they do only invest about 2 ults, and both support ults here up for WisdomOW, and they're looking good here going into point C.
Plenty of time left on, really left on both teams, but plenty of time left on Wisdom right now to take point C. They're not going to finish with as much time as Ghost Peppers did, but you're going to be up there, especially if they use these ults aggressively and don't get stalled like they did towards the end of point B.
Ooh, Thick Daddy got hacked, unable to heal himself, and then got melted. Oh, the big hack there coming in from Cyberspace. This payload is moving. It hasn't really stopped ever since it got to sort of point B, and we're already around the second corner here, and they're backing up. The 3:30 here on the clock. They've matched the time here, but it's going to take another 15-20 seconds if there is no resistance here coming in from that side. Oh, Quab sort of fell into the hole, but there's nobody on the payload. It is just still walking in as Yaxim here is going to get taken out. Wombat here is going to be the benefit of a heal. It looks like Lumbo here will get taken out here by Jackson, as they're going to try to see if they can kill Wombat here onto the point. Not going to be able to do so. 3 people on the payload. They're going to complete it as Chaos gets taken out again, and Wisdom will go back onto the offense. Not able to finish to complete that with more time than Ghost Peppers, but we're going into extra time, Pulse.
Yeah, and it's over 3 minutes left on both teams, which is not unheard of for Kings Road. Definitely not nearly as crazy as Hanamura, but it is quite a bit of time, especially since on Kings Road it's one of those maps where you generally finish with time where a first point hold is somewhat possible. With this time bank, I very much expect both teams to cap first point and probably get through a majority of B.
Yeah, there's a lot of time here on the clock, and it looks like they're going to go for a similar comp here. Lumbo on the Widow, and Cyberspace here on the Sombra. So a lot of hacking, a lot of attacks coming in. So Chaos has got to be super careful. He's actually gone to the Winston here, Winston, and will defend.
They're all still sitting in spawn with the exception of Osiren, who's already walked out on Zen. Might see a couple swaps left from the defense, but they have to lock in what they want soon.
Yeah, so maybe a little bit of a debate here on the side of the Peppers, trying to sort of figure out like what they want. Siren knew immediately he's going to play the Zen, but I think everybody else here trying to sort of figure out what they want to sort of fit in. So double hit scan here is Jackson and Ghostboast coming in on the Ash Widow. So positioning wise, they're just going to get there in time, as the rest of the members of Wisdom here are going to be actually sort of just moving in. Thick Daddy taking an offensive position here, trying to sort of build up some energy. Does get shielded, immediately gets taken down, but he's not going to be building as much energy as he wants, I think. And he's not going to be building any energy because he's dead. As Ghostpost gets taken out here by Cyberspace 2. They're up 2, so it's 6v4 here. So not going to be able to do anything about this push. So Chaos here trying to say his best. Maybe build up some ult percentage, jump on a support or two. Lumbo gets taken out here by Jackson, so possibly a comeback, but with Chaos getting taken down, it's just too much. Osiren comes out of the doorway, not going to be able to stop him. So point A here will go to Wisdom. No extra time being gained here on the escort maps. 30 seconds are only added here on the control points when you're doing a 2CP. So 2:12 here on the clock, and they're going to have to start setting up a defense here really soon, or they're going to get pushed on really badly.
Yeah, but Cyberspace got a really late kill on Tyler in the backline while kind of flanking and looking for kills. Thick Daddy has swapped to the Hog, so we get to see some more roaming Hog flanks just going around, but Cyberspace has been doing a pretty good job of keeping the tanks in check so far.
Yeah, doing a pretty decent job here. This defense isn't really set up. They're a little bit all over the place, so no static defense here for the Peppers. Thick Daddy coming back out here on the Hog. Lumbo actually gets taken out, takes out Osiren. So they're down their Zen, and losing the Zen means losing the Discord, means losing 20% of your damage. So, like, here they come. They're going to come through that sort of mini choke here, and now the wings are popped here by Noob. Bob getting sent out onto the payload here is going to play the stall here, gets hacked and immediately killed. They melt that Bob relatively quickly as Wombat gets rezzed. And this fight is not going the way here of the Peppers. Jackson's got to be super careful before he gets killed. As I say that, Cyberspace finishes him off. Ghostpost finishes off Lumbo, but it's going to be 5 men on the point here, and there's not going to have anybody to stop him. 60 seconds left to go, and 5 huge ults here to complete this. Transcendence coming in, and a bomb here actually on the point to try to see if they can stall him. EMP will catch most of the 3 of the members here of the Ghost Peppers, but Thick Daddy here is able to sort of stay alive as he was staying off in the distance. They want to sort of fight on the point. Chaos here has got to get healed. He's not getting a lot of help, but he does take out a Wombat, and that is huge. Noob actually will get Wombat back up, so the fight will continue. The Mercy's been huge. Noob has been in there with the big ult. Jackson holding up this point here, 1.02 meters, but it's all Wisdom, and 20 seconds left to go. They just basically have to have one fight here to get him off the point, but Lumbo taking 2 late kills here are going to stagger the member of the Ghost Peppers. They're in deep, deep trouble here, Pulse.
They're in deep trouble. The only thing that they have going for them right now, very building up a shatter with Chaos, and that they have the Dragon Strike, which is a pretty good get off my cart button. But it's still going to have to be absolutely perfect because they have sustain really to keep them up if there's no other pressure other than just this dragon.
Yeah, the dragon hasn't. The dragon actually does get Yaxim, so that's a huge kill. Lumbo though has been on, but all of the kills now. Lumbo, one-man army, not going to be able to stop it by himself as he gets smacked off the payload. Cyberspace coming back here onto the Samba, trying to delay to see hopefully if there's anybody that can come back. Not going to be able to do so. Overtime's going to tick down. Wombat came in, got shattered, but that is very respectable for 3 minutes plus.
Yeah, 3 minutes and getting all the way to point C is, again, not nearly as nuts as Hanamura was earlier. Still very good, and it's going to be kind of hard to beat, especially since that point B is such a hard stall point. You have to win 3+ fights in a row, and it's kind of in this time bank if you want to cap point B even. But
yeah, and that's why you see a lot of teams.
It's been crazy so far.
Yeah, you see a lot of teams try to do that, and they always get stalled up on one, right? Like they lose one fight, and then it just kills like a minute and a half or something like that, because they lose that one fight. They got to go back to spawn. They got to go fight. The cart's moved halfway. It's just such a hard point. Like a lot of teams will try to, like you see a lot of teams basically right after they win point A go for like some stall kills, try to see if they can spawn all the way back and maybe lower the fight count to 2. And that's why you see a lot of teams sort of move up and hope to God they can get somebody get caught short spawned or spawned in the wrong location, stagger them up, and then wait, make them sort of wait for another fight before they come out of the point C spawn. So yeah, 3 minutes 30 seconds here for the Peppers. They've got to make it pretty much all the way to the midpoint of point C, Pulse, and they're going to be running a standard goats comp here and try to see if they can get this quickly.
Yeah, and Ghost is still very good on King's Row. It gives you a lot of brawling power. But Cyberspace has already taken down Ghost Post in the back. You kind of waited at spawn, just waited for them to do it. And there's very little damage that can come out from the offense. You don't have a Zarya that's charged, you don't have a Zen, and all of these early kills are going to Cyberspace with Wisdom.
Oh yeah, he's hacking and making sure that they're not getting away. He's just been very, very accurate with that little minigun that he has. And that immediate melting of Osiren and Ghost Post was just very, very problematic, which just stalls out the push here for the Peppers. So they burned 20 seconds they didn't have in the time bank with those early kills. Now finally they're just sort of moving up and just sort of leaving Ghost Post to be. Lumbo though takes down Jackson, and this has not been the second push that they wanted, as they're going to have to sort of fall back. A hack again here onto Ghost Post. He's got to be super careful as he's getting shot. He tried to fall onto the health pack, but that's been hacked, so no health pack for Ghost Post right there as they're trying to deal, and he's just been a nuisance in the background.
Cyberspace is getting away with a lot on this Sombra too. Just been hacking everyone, been getting picks off before fights even start, and it's been kind of crazy how much he's been getting away with. We really need to see Thick Daddy be spy checking more, be more aggressive into Cyberspace's fight, so he can get away with these.
Yeah, and the thing about it is like, oh, and a big tire here from Lumbo to move on in. This is a lost fight already. 153 here, look on the clock, and Ghost Pepper's just, unable to even make it out of spawn. With Cyberspace with the EMP here, there's another upcoming probably fight win from Wisdom. Doesn't matter how many ults Ghost Peppers have. This is very, very bad right now for the Ghost Peppers.
And especially considering that even if they get point A, they'll have to take a majority of point B in overtime.
Oh, as he goes in, Cyberspace here looking for the EMP, got sort of stalled out, and now the position has changed as Pepper's now here onto the backside. Bomb getting sent up into the air. Oh, and it'll catch Chaos and Jackson. Not a shield to be found. It looks like Chaos got lost in the air. Transcendence now coming out here from Yaxim as they just look to clear out the members of the Peppers here. Cyberspace here looking pretty good as he used that EMP probably just to make sure that the shield didn't come up there from Chaos, as now we're down to 55 seconds and not even a tick here on point A.
And Cyberspace is setting up to farm the Zen as they come out, but get found out by Osiren. Gets booped away and forced to translocate. So now Ghost Peppers has to make their way in here very fast before the Sombra can contribute to this next fight.
Yeah, so they're going to try to move on in here, and they need to win this fight because there's no tomorrow when it comes to this. So it looks like a hack came in right onto Chaos. Lucio ult here will try to keep the Peppers up as a bomb gets sent. Not going to be able to do anything about that. That guy Tyler does catch Wombat down. So Chaos able to get nuked, but Lumbo with a tire will catch Chaos. Another big EMP there, but nothing doing as it looks like Quab was able to get D-Mech. Lumbo gets taken down, and now it's just a matter of clearing out Quab. Overtime about to tick down, and they're going to cap this, but I'm not sure how much of streets they're going to be able to get through.
Cyberspace being very aggressive and contributing that EMP could have just saved it for this next fight, especially with everything that Ghost Peppers was investing into it. But again, is already just peeking, setting up for a quick poke damage on the Zen, and if the Ghost Post falls to the Sombra again, then they're going to be down and lose this fight.
Yeah, we're in one fight territory here, so this is one of those times in which we need to see Ghost Peppers win fight after fight after fight as the rally comes out here from Jackson. So Wombat just want to back up, just trying to make sure that they maybe use up the effects of the rally here. Chaos gets blown into the bookstore here, but the payload is still moving, so he's got to be super careful. He wants to make sure that he gets the early pick. If they can get an early pick here, they can sort of move on that. Tire coming in, Transcendence actually being popped here by Ghost Post. That was, I think, a little bit of panic into the background. 2 gets taken down, but Chaos got 2 of his own, so he evens out the fight. Chaos actually trying to take out Noob here. They're still alive. That shatter was blocked by the payload as Wombat and Quab here trying to sort of push on in. Chaos gets taken out here by Quab. Thick Daddy takes out Wombat, but not going to be enough here. They get pushed off the payload, and Wisdom will 4-0 the Ghost Peppers in something I didn't see coming.
Yeah, for sure. Like, we were coming into this, we saw the scores from earlier. Wisdom is now 11-7, I think, right?
Yeah.
And this is only the 3rd time that Ghost Peppers lose, but they were kind of destroyed, to put it lightly.
Yeah, I think Wisdom actually handled them very, very well here in this game. They're gonna take a look. I gotta believe that Ghost Pepper's gonna take a look at this VOD and just try to figure out what went wrong. There was a lot of non-peeling. There was just a lot of things that they could have fixed on here. Credit though to Wisdom for taking advantage of all of the things that the Peppers were very, very vulnerable to. You saw that on King's Row where they were running that Sombra and just annoying the piss out of that backline, just not going to be able to do anything with regards to it. And then there were just instances of the fact that fights were being won. Normally Ghost Pepper's very good in the neutral there, but Wisdom with their DPS were winning fight after fight, and Widowmaker shots where people were being careless with where they were standing. Just a whole lot of things going on in that in this match here, Pulse.
Yeah, a whole lot of very weird scenarios coming up, like you said, just in general out of position. People look like they're trying to adapt more to a more 2-2-2 base meta instead of the formerly what we saw a lot of 3-3. But it is interesting because Ghost Peppers was one of those teams that was running a lot of 2-2-2, especially with picking up like Commander Hui, picking up Ghost Boast, picking up some of those players that just are really good DPS players.
Hmm.
They've been used to this. They've been playing these types of comps for a while now, and they just did not look the same as normal.
Yeah, and it seemed really weird to me. But if you look at the scores, with regards to Busan, that was a very close 2-1. Hanamura went into overtime at
I would
fourth.
argue that Busan was a very lopsided 2-1.
Yeah,
The two maps that Wisdom won were 100-0, and the one that Ghost Peppers won was 199-100. So
99-100. Yeah. So theoretically, you can read into it, and theoretically they got handled. So Ghost Peppers here going into the
theoretically, it
theoretically.
happened. We saw
It
it. We
Yeah,
casted it.
we casted it. It is what happened. So what are you gonna do? They end their season here on a loss, and on a pretty bad one at that. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they react going into the playoffs. I talked about this on the Nest Pulse about how there are just sometimes they just look off. And there's just something just doesn't seem right sometimes about the Peppers. So I worry possibly could they get upset in the playoffs here leading in. So who knows? They're going to be playing the number 7 seed going in. So theoretically, the way that it stands now, they're going to be playing against a very up Furious Unicorns. And who knows coming out of that match? It's going to be pretty crazy.
Hmm.
So final thoughts from you regarding this match before we send the sayonara to the people on Twitch.
That was an absolute upset by Wisdom. Just Wisdom finally being able to show what they want, being able to play the heroes that they want, and they had a really good showing doing so. So proving that they're really not a team to be taken lightly coming into playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. So, that's a team to be on the out for. They're going to have to play a couple more matches here, I think, based on their record to sort of make it up to the 20. So,
Yeah, I
possibly.
think they have two more.
Mhm.
They're 11-7 now with this win.
Yeah, so let's look at the standings here. Yeah, so that puts them up at 11-7. That actually separates them a little bit away from the Unicorns, which means that the Ghost Peppers here will probably end up playing the Unicorns here. Unicorns have 2 matches to go. They would need 2 wins, I think, to jump Wisdom, and Wisdom can't lose any more of their matches. So, seeding is going to be interesting. We could see Wisdom play the Ghost Peppers again in the opening round here of the playoffs, and after this match, that might not be something that the Ghost Peppers want to see.
Definitely not, especially since Wisdom is now only the third team to take a win from Ghost Peppers. It's Ghost Peppers is really only wanting to have a challenge with Boosted, but if they have to prepare for more than one match, and possibly all three, depending on who wins, how brackets turn out. But
Hmm.
when you're coming in as a 2 seed, the only one that you really want to have to hard study for is the 1 seed. But after this, they're gonna have to pick up a lot of slack and figure out how to play against Wisdom again if they drop to 7th. So
Exactly. Or, they feel like maybe Wisdom's going to drop to 7th and they were, sort of sandbagging a la NYXL. So who knows what's going on in the background there, the Peppers. So we're just sort of speculating at this point. But that is going to do it for us. Pulse, thank you so much for being my partner again today.
it's been a couple times since we've done it, but it's been fun doing it again.
Absolutely. So that's going to do it for us, folks. We're going to end it there. It is WisdomOW taking a 4-0 win here over the Ghost Peppers. Ghost Peppers now 17-3. They end their season in second place here in the Majors division. Wisdom will play a couple more matches, trying to figure out where they end up. They could end up as low as 7. They could end up as high as 5. So lots of stuff still to figure out here for them, but a good win here over a very good Ghost Peppers team, 4-0. But for Pulse, I am Hodo. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we will see you next time.